Hey everybody, Stippling Vaughn, and this is the long overdue Inglorious Rex. Uh, I got this book about 3 weeks ago. I read it multiple times, and I wanted to give you guys a quick review. Now, here's the thing: almost everybody has talked about this goddamn book and have told every single page about it. Okay, this review is not going to be one of those reviews. I'm not going to reveal the ending to you guys. Okay, I'm going to reveal specific things I liked about it without giving away too many details to the story. Why? Because I want you guys to, if you've not backed this book, to go and back it with the ability to back Inglorious Rex 2. It is available. I have it linked on this video. Please go to that link. This can't. Inglorious Rex 2 is currently being shadow banned by Indiegogo. So that's where it's important for a video like this to not just tell you about how good this book is, but also to provide you with the opportunity with a link so you can go so you can back it yourself. Yanzi and Shane have said that they have limited copies available on their website. So if you don't want to wait for the campaign, you can back it now. But if I remember correctly, they've indicated that if you were to buy this book outright from their website, it's going to cost you more money than if you were to back Inglorious Rex 2. Now, the other thing that's really good about the way Shane Yanzer do it is most people, when they have their campaign, they have their supplemental book. Okay? And most times, after the campaign's over, this supplemental book is no longer available. This time with Inglorious Rex 2, they are giving you the ability to get the supplemental from the first campaign. And I would definitely advise it. I'm going to be going over that book also. But first and foremost, let's go over the book itself. Okay? So we have the first book, and this is the cover by Shane Davis. And these were the stretch goals, which was for you to sign up, just to sign up, be on the mailing list before the campaign launched. He had this lenticular card that you would get. Then he had numerous stretch goals with numerous cards and numerous stickers, and of course also with the numerous magnets. This was the first campaign that I've got done where it had multiple magnets, and I like them very much. In fact, at my station here in the kitchen, I have them attached to the Keurig cup holder dispenser. It's made out of metal, so I've got my sticker magnets right there. So they're right there. They're not attached to the microwave, so don't have to worry about damaging the microwave. So we have the book itself. Now, I'm not going to go over too much of the book. What I am going to go over is two significant things. The first thing that I really liked about this book is the artwork in it. Shane really did put his heart into it. I'm not afraid to show you guys this page itself because he's now utilizing this page in his campaign for Inglorious Rex 2. So you can see that this is the arena inside the city, Arc City, as he calls it. And you get glimpses of inside the arena. And then, of course, we go into where he is meeting Little T. Now, here's the big thing, okay, is I'm going to bring this up to you guys to see. Okay, but take a look at this corner here. Okay, if you look just above and to the right of that word balloon, you can see this type of cross hatching that he uses. Now, a lot of people contribute that to the Jim Lees and the Rob Liefelds. The first time I ever noticed that was years before those guys were on the scene. And that's with Tom Lyle. Tom Lyle, he was really big in using this method of cross hatching to fill up and provide some energy to the background. So that's one of the first things I notice about Shane's work is how he puts that cross hatching in to give it helps frame up this panel without the need of any computer coloring. And two, it adds energy. So you have him in this semi-action pose, has the fingers out. This just adds an extra layer to it of energy to the panel as opposed to doing a feathering or a fade like so many people do. It's very common for people just to take a brush and to have a type of thin to thick line and just pull it as a means to frame it up. But by doing it this way, and because it's not uniform, okay, you take a look at this again, okay, because of how he does this, okay, where he puts the cross hatching in, but how he breaks up the line and how he's getting to the point where he's just starting to fill in some of these boxes, okay, it adds an energy to the page. I know that he went to the Kubert School, and that was one of the things that Mike Chen did a lot also in his pages to give it an extra layer of energy to the page is do a type of cross hatching like that. I don't want to go into too much here. This is, again, the reason why I'm showing you this page is because this page has been shown. It's a beautiful page, and on top of it, it is a page in the back of the book also. Okay. Again, you get a sense of the industrial feel of the city with the architecture. Beautiful work of doing a futuristic style motorcycle, and then we get into here we see it 232 still alive, but yet we still see that 232's not doing well. But my big thing here is how Shane really pushed himself. This is not an easy angle. To put himself at this angle, just look at how he did this, okay? He didn't put a whole, he just put a little bit in to show, okay, we got a city back here, but didn't really need to go deep into it. He did the industrial angles here, but then also, we have basically a series of lines, okay? Boom, boom, boom. So it pulls us forward, but it also, because of the angle, pushes us visually in towards the motorcycle. And then we have the lines over on this side. All the lines, okay? We take a look at every single line here, okay? All the lines you see are at an angle. So all the lines from this building at an angle this way, all the lines here, okay? We are directing the eye directly to the motorcycle as the center focus of this panel, so that way we can read these panels, okay? But visually, this is a framing device or a storytelling device that we know that he is running through the city at a high speed. We don't need to see every single panel of him driving at a high speed while we read all of these different word bubbles to convey the information we need. Okay, and again, I love the layout for this page. The next panel also is this is one thing a lot of people, I don't think, if they caught up on this, they really didn't say much about it. What I noticed moving forward with this story is there's a connection between Alex and 232. Okay, there's a connection between them. The way I see the easiest way to explain this is, when I was a kid, when I'd go to my aunt and uncle's, okay, I'd go to my aunt and uncle and I'd spend, sometimes I'd spend like a week there. And they had a Labrador Retriever. And the Labrador Retriever never really acted like it was happy to see me. But my aunt and uncle would say that after I would leave, the dog would be very mopey because I wasn't around. Okay. This, in many ways, is reminding me of a dog that is not like that lab, but like a dog that isn't yours, but it recognizes you and goes, I know who you are, and I'm happy to see you again. I don't get to see you that much, but it's good to see you again. That's the impression I get. And throughout the story, it's not just the revenge story of him revenging the death of his brother, but it's also these two trying to work together and developing that relationship. In some ways, it's obvious, in some ways, it's not. Okay, this is where, as a writer, you can't just outright spoon feed every single piece of information. This is where you got to have some faith in the reader of filling in the lines and then providing the rest of the information that you're trying to convey and tell the rest of the story from that. And that's one of the things that I grasped from it throughout it, was how these two are developing that relationship between them. The other thing, which I am not going to go into, is that yes, obviously Alex wins against the other Rex fighter in this book. I mean, that's obvious. We knew that just backing it. But how Alex is able to defeat him is completely different. Okay, give me a minute here. I want to see here. Yeah, this is the page I wanted. So we know this page. This is probably one of the very first pages that Shane did of Alex and 232. Okay, but again, getting back to the fight, how they're able to defeat the other Rex, that surprised me. Was that okay? The second thing that surprised me is what the Rex does. Okay, now it's been established that these Rexes, as they fight and as they win, they genetically get stronger, they level up, they mutate. Okay, because of what 232 does, it makes me wonder if he is mutating himself in a different way. Remember, it's established in the story that Alex is not, that the 232 does not come from Alex's DNA. It comes from his brother's DNA. His brother was killed, and this Rex, 232, spent a number of years just being a punching bag or a sparring Rex for other Rex fighters. Because he was not harnessed to a driver, I guess you could say, in the harness, does this mean that he did, because he was sentient at least, did he mutate or evolve differently from other Rexes? Okay, I'm trying to convey this without giving away the story. Okay, but what he does makes me wonder if he has evolved differently from other Rexes, and as a result, he is now a unique Rex compared to other Rexes, and how they level up or mutate. Okay, his mutation is completely different now because of that, and it's because of the fact that he went so long without having a driver, and now that he does have a driver, I know it's not how he phrases it, but he's driving him. But because he has a driver, does it, and now there's a new mind connecting with him genetically like a dog, he is in sync with his owner. But now that he has a new owner, he needs to readjust his thinking as to how he's performing. Does that help jumpstart his evolutionary jump that we see at the end of this book? Okay, that is something that I think would be very interested to see if that's part of the ongoing story in book 2. I talked about this when I was down in Baltimore with someone else who had backed this book, and they were very interested in my theory on this, Rex, that maybe that is what happened, why he essentially is evolving differently than other Rexes. Okay, so very, like I said, I enjoyed this book a lot. One thing also I want to point out here is that, again, okay, we can see here, okay, how he does it. Okay, this where he has here, okay, it's much more organic as opposed to a grid, but at the same time also you can see the thin to thick, okay, both this way and this way, and how it creates this chaotic energy in the background. But here's the thing. It's simple and basic. It creates energy, but it doesn't compete with the main drawing. And that's the reason why I've always felt that when artists utilize this method in the background, why it can be so effective. Okay, so we've done this book. I am not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I wanted to go over this book here. Okay, this is the supplemental. Like I said, Shane and Jans are doing it differently than everybody else. If you did not get this supplemental when they did the first campaign, they have it as an option for you to get it in the second campaign. I would highly recommend anybody who did not get this to get it. Okay, and the primary reason is from Nerium. Okay, Nerium did. She did a crowdfund book. I think it was called Blood Ties, or I can't remember what it was exactly. I apologize for not looking it up before this video. Okay, but how she does, I'm not going to show you every single page, but how she does her pages, okay, and renders stuff. Okay, this reminds me very much of how manga would take a page, throw a sheet of Zipatone over it, and then just cut out certain parts, peel that up, and you'd still have almost the entire page of being Zipatone. And in some areas, even not only was it cut out, they would take an X-Acto blade and they would actually go in with the X-Acto blade and scratch out the Zipatone to create almost like a feathering. And that's what I get with this feel. And I, being a huge fan of Zipatone and of black and white work art, I felt this was great. This, in my opinion, with this supplemental, this was one of Shane's secret weapons. And I would definitely encourage anybody who's a fan of the black and white medium, a fan of manga, if you want to get a real good idea of how Zipatone is used while using digital tools, this is definitely a high example. A lot of people don't. I remember talking to numerous artists about why they don't do Zipatone anymore, and the response is they go, "Oh, well, that's just something that's done the color stage now." And we all see what the problem is in Marvel and DC books right now, and even Image books. You'll have very good artwork, very good pencils, very good black and whites, and then the colorist goes and noodles and colors every single goddamn page like it's Da Vinci, like they're fucking Da Vinci, and basically it's horrible shit. And what really irritates the hell out of me is you look at so many pages where it's like less is more. And so many times I look at someone's artwork and I go, if they just done a nice zip screen and a flat tone, that's all was needed. But no, they had to over render the hell out of this one panel that's half the size of that. And that's what irritates the hell out of me. But no, this here is a great example of black and white work, okay, using digital tools to create a duo shade or zip tone feel to the artwork. Okay, Shane, when he did this story, he did the layouts. The layouts are listed, shown in the back of the book, and then so that gave him a guide, that artist a guide, Miriam, a guide as to how to render the whole thing. Again, see how this was done. So you have this buffering feel, okay, of the that this is the light source, and the rays of light are coming in. I think Miriam could have gone even stronger with doing this to pull the light in, this higher streak here or higher streak there, because that's what you would see if you had if this was a dark room and that was your sole light source. The other backup story was by Shelby Robertson. Nice pterodactyl sticker. And again, what I like the most about when Shelby does it is he brings and maintains that energy that Rob always had in his artwork. I can understand why Shelby was the ghost penciler for Rob Liefeld for so many years. Again, he had a lot of fun with how he did his panel layouts and how he did. There's the gutters are different in widths on almost every single page. How here you've got broad gutter here, gutters is pretty much the same here, but then there's the complete black gutter overlay, almost like an inset panel. And then you get here where you have different, how here they're wider, here they're narrower, but you still get that same sense of storytelling. I'm not going to go through this whole story, but anybody who did not get this supplemental book, you should need to take advantage of the opportunity you're being given by Shane and Yanzi of getting it with the second campaign. So I've taken enough time. The last thing I want to go over with you guys is Shane is currently over 130,000 in the launch of Inglorious Rex 2. As a result, he has announced that he's got his fan art contest. Okay, I am working on mine right now. You can see how I'm just really what I'm focusing on right now is drawing the creatures. Okay, that's the main thing I'm working on. And so, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm actually putting in tone. Okay, and then what I'll do is I will take a kneaded eraser, and let's say I'm going to do this piece here. I'm going to hit the hell out of it with the kneaded eraser. I'm not going to erase like this. I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to basically dab it to take all the tone out as much as possible. There's still be some tone there, but not a whole lot. Then I'm just going to put in the inks, put in the dots, just to do this shape. And then I'll go into do this shape, and then this shape. That's how I did this whole thing down here. And that's why it has that look. And that gives me the ability also, as I go along, if I decide, okay, I need to be going darker on this shape here, so this area here, that needs to be darker. This area here, that needs to be darker. This area here, that needs. It gives me the ability as I go along that I'm not locked in. Okay, it's too late. I've toned that. It's too dark. I'm stuck with it. Okay, I can go in and add tone to each of these areas as I go along. Okay, and you can see here how I've pretty much done the same thing where you have a great just going the dots. I've got a nice, great sense of dark to light. Okay, same thing with here, but you can see how it creates shape and it gives it a little bit of pop. But at the same time, also, like I said, I'm probably going to go in and hit this again, so it's even darker, and I'll probably hit here. So it's darker too. Because right now, as it seems, okay, this is almost equal to or is lighter than here. And I don't want that. I want this to be lighter. I want these spots to be darker. So I'm going to have to hit them again and again. And that's where it's nice. Is I just go back and hit it again until I get it to that darkness I want, but it still gives it that nice form. The reason why I'm focusing on the alien creatures right now, that's what I'm calling them, as alien creatures, is because all they are basically is framing devices for this Rex here that's fallen, for Razor in her action pose, and then I have not done it. I have intentionally not put in 232. I will have 232 in the background here, but all these alien creatures, and there's going to be another alien creature here, okay? It's getting cold cocked, okay? But all these alien creatures all they are is framing objects and shapes for our Rexes. So in essence, it doesn't matter whether these guys are detailed out to the nth degree, or whether I just do ovals and make them like almost like Pac-Man ghosts. Okay, their purpose is merely to A, imply that there's a threat, and B, frame up to direct your eyes to the Rexes. Because when you do a drawing, you want to have at least a primary focus and a secondary focus. Okay, my primary focus is going to be Razor. My secondary focus is going to be 232. If I'm going to have then a third focal point, it would lastly be this Razor, this Rex down here. But you don't want that, okay? Because you don't want your eye to go boom, 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 okay? Which, in some ways you could. That's a nice triangle, okay? But overall, you try to keep 2 focal points. Most time when you're doing a picture image like this, you want 2 focal points. And because of her and her shape, she all but forms her own triangle. So I'm having fun with this every single weekend. I will, until this image is done, I will be doing videos showing you the progress. I invite you all to come watch it, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you do like these content, don't forget to hit subscribe. But until then, remember, life is stressful, but that's why you just take it one dot at a time.